This is going to be the round of 4 game. This is going to be Cheese Enema versus Sofanda's Bear Tibbers. Looks like we have Annie as the first ban. A lot of AoE damage. AoE stun, it's dangerous. Kha'Zix and Kasten being banned as well. The best AP and AD assassins on this map. And Brand. Very powerful zoning ability because of his spells. Brings a stun to the table. All around dangerous champion. Synchronizes very well with J4. If you combine Brand, Annie, and J4 together, you get really bad things to happen in teamfights.
Annie Brand Jarvan is pretty terror.
Yep.
Even just Annie Brand is terror.
Yeah, but if you don't have them contained in something, then you get Wildfire Zyra as a result. Nobody wants that.
Well, you could add Zyra.
It's true.
Stun them with Tibbers, and then chain that with a knockup. It's a 1.75 second stun, so there would still be 0.25 seconds that they could get out of it before the knockup from Strangled Thorns, but
I don't think it's too likely. But, yeah. You take human reaction time in there, that cuts off a quarter second.
well, the problem is
And you have
that
lag
if
for another quarter second.
you can pre-cast your flash or your dash or whatever, and so then as soon as the CC is over, you're going to flash or dash or whatever.
Wait, you can buffer in this game? What?
Well, if you're CC'd, like if you press F to flash, because why would you ever put F on a key or flash on a key other than F? So you press F to flash, but you're CC'd. As long as you take no other action, you'll flash immediately after the CC ends. That was a change that they made like partway through season 2, in early season 2 or late season 1, I think.
All right, looking at the rest of the bands.
Do you really put flash on G?
I never said such a thing. I don't know how you would ever have gotten that idea. So we're seeing Lulu, Nidalee, Talon, Jace, and Fizz being banned. Lulu, who's an extremely powerful support with a skilled player behind her. Nidalee and Jace, who have extremely powerful poke. Talon, who has extremely powerful assassination abilities. Fizz has extreme dodging, and Janna has extreme speed and goes before quick attack. Now, we have Krowag picking up Wukong. Wukong not
Wukong
banned.
was left open. Again, the Jace ban instead of Wukong. But Leona Pantheon is a deadly combo.
Well, you know, it's Zenith Blade into stun, enables Pantheon to catch up, he stuns, Eclipse happens, they take damage, they get Heartseeker struck while that stun's going on, and if they really want to, they wake up into a Solar Flare, and then they get finished off with a Spear Shot, or just, you know, Pantheon stabbing them.
Yeah, the other important thing is that Heartseeker Strike is a dot, and so he's basically going to get free procs of every single Sunlight proc from Leona.
Mm-hmm. It's brutal. Wukong, character we don't see very often. Armor reduction is very good, and when you add in his ability to just sort of dash in and airborne everyone on the enemy team, and then break someone's armor after that, it's brutal. There's really not much of a way to stop it unless you have vision of it before it happens. So you have to have pretty good fight control, because he'll initiate in on a tank and then just cyclone into the squishies if he has that option. So you can't even really... You need to zone him back away from you in order to keep that from happening. And then let's say you initiate, then he pops the cyclone anyway, and then you all initiate into an airborne. It's not very fun. So we're seeing Amumu and Zyra, and that's a very good combination. Both of them have great crowd control ability. Both of them have a lot of AoE damage. They synchronize really well with each other. That's actually really brutal. You have AoE snare, AoE airborne stun, you have slow, another snare, another stun. Yeah, that's bad. Plus tons of magic damage.
I don't know if they wanted to go for a support, but they were hovering over Inami before, and actually if they added Sona to this composition, Sona or Orianna, either one of those would provide a huge amount of additional CC, keeping you in the Cyclone for an even longer time. I guess I'd be a little bit concerned if they went for Sona that they might not have enough damage depending on what their last pick is.
No, they really wouldn't, especially with Leo.
Yeah, and I'm just very glad that Annie and Brand aren't available, because if they picked up either one of those two, then this AoE would just, like,
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that would deter them from getting a support in that, or a support with a stun like that in that comp, is just that they really need the damage, because, yeah, Ezreal and
Sona
Kale
has
can both get
damage.
splattered.
Sona
Oh, she
has damage,
definitely
but
does.
they don't have a 100 to 0 assassin. They have no one who can be a 100 to 0 assassin. And generally you want at least one person who has the potential of being a 100 to 0 assassin, and that's actually a lock-in of Shaco.
So, Wowick Shaco, probably. The
Can you
first time...
talk about the Shaco a bit?
Yeah, I could talk about the Shaco a bit. Absolutely.
It's Shaco, but okay.
Thank you, but I prefer it my way. So, that champion. There's a couple different ways to play him. I'm sure we've all died to both AP and AD Shaco at different times. And here's what's up with that character. He is Nightmare Mode Harass because of his ability to be two people, his ability to disappear, which is also a teleport. So he jumps a distance and is stealthed, so it's two spells in one. Like, he can just blink away, and then you, like, walk away, like, oh, he probably blinked over here, and really he just stayed in the same place, and then you left, and then he's capturing something or killing your Janna? That's not very good. He has a slow, which is a pretty underrated thing about him, the way they can just kind of move back and forth and throw that slow on people. He is great at dragging people away from points, or from engagements in general, because he can threaten a back cap and escape extremely easily from it. If he's AP, he can be ignored a little bit, because they know, oh, he's thrown out his knife, we don't have to worry about him for a second. But if he's AD, then you're like, oh, we actually have to kill this guy, or he's going to stand and deliver us to death. And it's really hard to focus him down just because of his kit. So that's something you also have to watch out for. The problem is while he's doing all of those position games that he can do, he's not dealing damage at the same time. That's where he tends to suffer a little bit. Also, Hextech Sweepers make him intensely unhappy.
Hextech Sweepers make a lot of champions unhappy, because at the very least you can't kite into a bush anymore.
Yep.
But I think this is the third game in a row that Nyx is playing Riven.
Yeah? You know how it is. You pick up a champ, do real good with him for a while, play him a lot. My match history is basically all Xin Zhao.
Oh, was it Xin Zhao and not Riven?
No, I was making a reference to. You know, sometimes maybe he picked up a Riven recently, and is just kind of stress testing it. Maybe he just really likes Riven. Maybe she just is what works best in this comp right now. A lot of reasons.
Yeah, Riven has a lot of outplay potential.
I'm looking at Ezreal and Kale. And here's the question. Which one do you kill? Because the other one's going to attack you. I think you have to kill Kale, switch to Ezreal briefly during intervention. He's going to arcane shift away, but you might get a little bit of damage on him, and then switch back to Kale if you're still alive.
Well, the thing is that their comp doesn't actually focus people. The point of their comp is that it's massive AoE. Shaco's pretty much the only one who's actually doing any noticeable amount of single target damage. All of Zyra's stuff is AoE. All of Amumu's stuff is AoE. Wukong has a little bit of single target, but it's mostly AoE. And Gragas is entirely AoE. So, unless Kale and Ezreal are on opposite sides of the fight, if they're doing damage to one of them, they're going to be doing damage to everyone. And it's a comp out of Enema that they need to have grouped fights. If they don't have these grouped at least 4v4s, it's not going to go well for them, just because they don't really have the ability to focus a single target all that well. If they can catch one person out, okay, great. But if they're having maybe a 3v3 and ults aren't available, it's not going to go well for them. They need to be, every single time all their ults are up, they need to win a fight 4-for-1, or maybe even 4-for-2, and then cap an objective off of that.
Sure. That sounds great. Let's do that. I hope they weren't listening. You just told them how to win the game.
Well, they picked the team comp, so I assume that they know how to win the game.
Oh, okay. Tirmantha gets it in the chat. No, wait. Java Pius. He's the one. He has it completely correct. That guy. He has it exactly 100% authenticity. This is going to be our round of 4 game. Choose Enema versus Sofanda's. I'm interested to see how this plays out with the Shaco pick. I will try to look around on him with the camera when I can. So a lot of people always ask me how good he is in Dominion, and maybe this will help explain that a little bit for people. Let's change my scene to that. How did you pronounce my name? Did you just now catch on to what I've been doing? So, Trimantha in the Twitch chat has just now realized that I've been referring to him as Tirmantha. I've done that for like 4 months, and you haven't caught on, man. Dunno. That's just proof people that listen to me. Yeah, dude, I will intentionally pronounce names wrong. Like, sometimes. And until someone calls me out on it, and you've never noticed it. I said that all through Day of Dominion stream, all through those other times you came and watch. You watch the show all the time, man. There you go. So Trimantha has finally figured it out. This game, however, Trimantha is not playing, and he's just watching in the Twitch TV chat, twitch.tv/DominateGamingTV. For those of you guys that are watching this VOD, this could be the round of 4 game, Cheese Enema versus Sofanda's Bear Tibbers. Cheese Enema's team going to consist of Krog playing as Amumu, Wowix playing as Shaco, Sandra playing as Zyra, Sifu Calvin playing as Wukong, and MMKH playing as Gragas. I am one half of your commentators. I am Gandare, and casting with me is...
I'm Rheingold River, and the other half of your players is going to be the team Sofanda's Bear Tibbers. It is Golly on Leona, Armed Weasel playing Pantheon at North Pawn, Kale, Generic on Ezreal, and Nix87 once again on Riven.
And starting items, Leo going for the Ruby Crystals first.
I like that on Leona because she gets free defense stats from her W. I should be, 30 armor and MR? Yeah, 30 armor and MR at level 1. And so you, while your W is active, and that's 5 seconds, right? Assuming that it's actually 6 seconds, assuming that you hit people with it. That's a long time. That's most of the fight that you're going to have it up for. So you just want to get additional health. You don't care too much about stats. And then the other thing is that Leona wants to rush a sweeper against the Shaco.
In general, even, you want that as quickly as possible as you can get it on a tank because it gives you the extra movement speed.
Yeah.
And going for the Ionian boots first on Shaco. Now that's a little bit unusual. As seeing the Catalyst first on MKH, something we see occasionally on bottom laners is them going for that because you get the early level up that gives them a little bit of an ability to trade at the beginning of the game, and you don't need the boots as much.
I think that the Lucidity boots on Shaco are just so that he can make more boxes as early as possible. You really want to get that CDR stacked. You don't care too much about being able to do damage as you do about really wanting to be able to get as much disruption. And you can see 3 health potions and 5 mana potions in his start. He's not expecting to be in the fray and get focused at all. He's expecting to be staying on the outskirts and staying there for a really, really long time. Also, he might just go and back cap the drill immediately.
That is something that'll happen. It will take someone away from the windmill fight and make it a 3v3 up there. You can see Leona hanging around in the center of the map looking for him. Has found him. So it means it's going to be a 3v3 up top. Armed Weasel exhausted, getting low on health. Bandage toss, keeps him stunned. And Zyra picks him up with an auto attack.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a catch out. Wukong now chasing on to Kale. Kale has to back off. And Kale's actually running towards Shaco right now. Shaco's still churning those mana potions. One more auto attack is not going to be enough. The exhaust comes down. The Mystic Shot will be enough. And Kale getting focused on to Wukong again. He Nimbus strike forward. Ezreal now on the other side. He's going to get the health potion, no problem there. But Wukong gets a lot of damage from the Heartseeker strike. And now it's up to Shaco to actually fight, which is not something that he expects to do. Sandra now dueling against Generic. But Amumu comes in to save the day. And Chaos, the plant lady, Sifu Calvin does go down. and Northpaw has returned on Kale. It's the Reckoning onto Sandra. Good amount of damage. We'll have the plant passive now, and we'll be able to focus that across, probably onto Weasel. We'll see exactly where she decides to aim that. Yeah, he's capping. She's going to interrupt. Wukong coming back from the revive. Mumu is here. Bit of damage goes down. And Shaco distracting Ezreal on the other side of the map. But it's a 3v1 on the top point right now. Shaco coming up. Riven was bot lane for a while because Kale actually roamed up from bot lane to get
really
to that
good
fight.
deceive to get that quick interrupt. And no, Zyra wouldn't have been able to get there. That was really close to being able to have a more prolonged neutral on that point. Snare over the wall. Generic doesn't quite reach it. There's the invulnerable from Kale. Sifu, is he going to get taken down? Yes, Golly with the Zenith Blade. And that stun combo on Sandra as well. Absolutely brutal. Quickly turning things around. And Wowix is, well, he has the point neutral here.
He does have the point neutral. Staying off to the side. And he's made one box. The cooldown on his Jack in the Box is 12 seconds right now. So once every 12 seconds he can make one of those. But he can't make any of them if he's dead. And that's what's going to happen. Leona, along with Pantheon, picks it up. But they had gotten the neutral onto the drill. Leona does not have her Solar Flare right now. And I think she would need that to be able to gap close to Mumu in time to disrupt. But she can also capture disrupt.
And Krog up at the top, keeping Golly distracted. Zyra and Wukong there as well. And oh dear, that snare on Northpaw, that airborne combo, him being taken down. Pantheon drops in with the Grand Skyfall. True Shot Barrage comes across the map. Shaco following in behind Generic's Ezreal. Forces him to keep moving closer and closer into the fight to try and get distance away from him. And a little bit of damage coming across from Zyra as well. Not leaving anyone behind to capture, but that's okay. Wowix knows he's not needed at the top, so he's going to break off and go for the drill? No, he's not. He had plenty of time, too. That's really interesting.
They still have another 90 seconds, basically a minute and a half, before they can fight again. Because Cyclone is down, Curse of the Sun Mummy is down. And they really need to have at least 2 of their AoE knockups. Zyra is going to have her ult in about 15 seconds, so that'll be one. But fighting without ultimates, the advantage is really in the hands of Sofanda.
And Wowix hanging out in the middle of the map, getting low on health very, very quickly. Tried to play some games with the boxes, really didn't work out for him.
Yeah, he does still have a box on the side of the bush there. He might actually be able to... There's a Stranglethorns, gets the knock-up onto one, and Wukong is going to go down, but Wukong isn't so useful without his ultimate. The exhaust on a Northpaw is going to mean that he can get focused down. Great dodge! No, he's not going to go down! Zyra makes the seed, but can't actually make a plant out of it, and seeds don't do any damage at all. So Kale does survive there, and it was just a last-second damage tick that focused Mumu down before he could get the kill on Kale.
I mean, MKH so far seems to be working over Nyx pretty hard, and that might be a problem as the game goes on longer, because Gragas does a whole lot of damage.
Is Shaco building towards a Blackfire Torch?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. BFT's Blackfire Torch is Deathfire Grasp after the change.
I guess they do have a good amount of magic damage. I don't think it's going to help himself so much, but it'll help out his team quite a bit.
Oh, it really will, because you look at all the AoE from Amumu and Zyra, you have Gragas as well, it'll help ganks a lot. Shaco capturing the tower is going to pull off the neutral. There's the Cyclone from Wukong, Armed Weasel, and Nyx, both still staying away. Shaco able to contribute a lot from that fight with his double. Nyx being chased away. MKH not going to go at him through the wall. He was looking for it, couldn't quite get it.
But they sent so much attention bot that they ended up losing out in top, where Amumu and Zyra were both focused down. Golly actually chasing after Zyra was able to pick up the kill by himself, and the windmill goes back over to Sofanda.
That interrupt is going to stop Wowx from having a chance at neutraling that, because it buys time for everyone else to catch up to the point. And he's looking to put some hurt on Kale, it seems, but the Storm Shield is going to mitigate most of that damage.
Yeah, the reveal from the sweeper is enough, though, and Shaco goes down. They really have to be fighting as a team. If they're doing anything other... Shaco can run around and try to back out, but if a fight actually happens and they're not as a team... And Cyclone isn't available right now from Wukong. And we're going to see that they can't actually really make anything happen. They had to use Sandra's Stranglethorns defensively, and Wukong couldn't follow that up with a Cyclone, so no kills there. Craig, meanwhile, trying to capture the windmill on top. He does have Curse of the Sun Mummy, but Cyclone's still not available for another quarter restoration.
They don't really have any way to follow up on a Curse of the Sad Mummy at the moment, if they used that.
And the fight is spread out, which is, again, not what they want, but because they don't have their ultimates right now, they really couldn't do what they wanted to at all. Amumu went down without using his Curse of the Sad Mummy. I'm actually really glad to see that as Azrael interrupts the Shaco cap, because it means that he will have Curse of the Sad Mummy up later. Now, Kale has roomed up to the top. That means that Gragas has to come up also, but last second intervention...
Nice combo on Pantheon. Good pickup from Shaco and Riven. DFG landing before Shaco's... what is that called? The
Shiv Poison.
Two Shiv Poison. I moused over it for a second, but then I started moving the camera and actually forgot to read it. So, GG bad casting strats. WoWX in the bottom. But yeah, the DFG landing right before that happened, just the ability sequence there was very, very clean between him and Zyra.
The thing that's interesting to me about this game is that no one's really balling. Everyone's just roaming up. And in theory, that should be really, really good for Enema. But Sofanda's actually timing a lot of engages when Enema doesn't have their ults. And because Shaco is just trying to backcap, if no one's ever on the bottom half of the map and everyone's focused to the top half, he sort of just doesn't even have the room to backcap. You have the global True Shot Barrage to interrupt his attempts. And in fights, Shaco's just not that useful.
And Gali taking some damage, Curse the Sad Mummy, and the combo with Zyra. Wukong follows it up, attacking Armed Weasel next. And the Bandage Toss does not land that time, but it was not necessarily. They still got away from it okay. Hearing people
so they used two of their AoE ults there. They still have Cyclone up for the next fight. Sifu Calvin got to the fight a little bit late, didn't use it. That's great, they'll still have it. Stranglethorns is not as long a cooldown as Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's going to be up in about 2/3 of the cooldown. So they just need to hang on until they get another ult up, not waste too many spells when they don't have everything available, and just not let a fight happen for the moment.
Okay, Krog being pursued by Gali and Northpaw. There's a Zenith Blade and Reckoning and Ignite. They're trying to do everything they can to him. Cyclone comes out, and that actually landed before the Heartseeker strike, so it didn't pick up the interrupt against that ability.
And more importantly, there was no follow-up, because not only was Zyra not there, but she didn't even have her Stranglethorns up. So even if she had been there, it wouldn't have actually been useful. And there's almost not even a point in using Cyclone unless you have at least one of the other follow-up AoEs.
Guys, I can't fix the flicker until after the game. Your reports of a flicker have been noted, but I cannot do anything about it during a game if that occurs during a game. Thank you for letting me know. MK shutting down Nyx in the bottom part of the map. Northpaw by himself. And it looks like Zyra is going to move away, head up towards the upper part of the map. However, everyone is in between her and her allies.
Well, that's actually a really good place for her to be right now because she has Stranglethorns available. So if she's split from the other side of the fight, as long as her allies aren't dying immediately, it's good for her to be flanking from the back.
Great bandage toss from Krog.
Yeah, that was really good.
Top portion of the map. Sifu and Sandra trying to kill Gali. Armed Weasel is going to be able to pick up Sandra, though. And Krog not connected with the bandage toss, unfortunately. Fighting under the tower, not sure how I feel about that. Wukong taking a whole lot of extra damage that he really didn't need to.
And a triple kill for Armed Weasel, and once again, only one of the ults was up. This team comp is only good when they have ults, and I just wish that they were speccing a little bit more cooldown reduction. Amumu has their end-to-end Omen. He does have 10% from his Hextech Super, but I'd like to see a little bit more CDR. Even if all he picked up was the Glacial Shroud, just to get a little bit more cooldown reduction, get that Curse of the Sad Mummy up as soon as possible.
Also, hey, what's up, Rival? Thanks for coming to the show. By the way, PJ has sub% hype. I need to get that after the game, after the tournament. Northpaw, low on health, is still hanging around to defend the drill. Leona is present as well, but is falling back away from Sandra and Sifu and is barely going to make it out.
And Nyx and Generic have gotten the neutral and actually about a third of a cap here. MMKH trying to go for the recap. It is a quest objective right now. They don't want to let the point go down for free. BF2 was used without any follow-up damage really, so a little bit of a waste there. But Generic is going to be able to turn this pretty effectively. Two-shot barrage comes across. Nice dodge from Shaco. And MMKH actually has to go back in the base, so Generic will be able to pick up the capture point.
Oh dear, Nyx taking all of the damage from Wowx's boxes. And oh dear, Gragas with a Wooglitz looks fascinating. Still duking out, might have been able to pick that up without that extra damage from Generic, but we have no way to know anymore. Wowx in the bottom part of the map is going to take this back. However, Pantheon is on his way down. That gets scouted out by Zyra's plan. Snare does not connect. Throws down the box. That fear is going to help Wowx escape. He is revealed, however. Ice moves over to pick up that relic. Arm Weasel's aware of it. Throws the spear shot and picks him up with an auto attack.
Oh no, the Stranglethorn's doing nothing there for Sandra. Saved his life for a short time, but Ezreal is able to come from the back. And at this point, I think that Sofanda might be completely in control of this game. Their control over this game might not be revocable.
No, it's possible that they may never get their control back. There's a good exhaust on Nyx. That's great play by Sifu. Very good fight against that Riven. Bottom part of the map. 3 down here. They want to keep control over this tower. Sifu's engaging them to keep them back away from potentially interrupting Krowog. Has to fall back though as his health gets low. MMK's through the wall. And that bandage toss in for Armed Weasel. Wukong tries to get a little bit of capture action done while they're zoning them back, but Pantheon dives through to interrupt it. Is going to take a lot of damage in the process, however, using his Yomus to escape, it looks like. Curse the Sad Mummy. Oh, that range reduction from several patches ago. Not quite going to tag that Pantheon. And Generic, it's one bandage toss away from disaster. No, just a little bit of auto attack damage. Nyx, run Nyx. Is he going to be able to make it out? Is he going to be able to get this kill?
He's going to be fine at this point.
No.
Oh, no, he took a tower shot also, I think. But Gragas might have just picked up the kill with a cask. Not a cask, a barrel roll.
Meanwhile, in the other side of the map, bad things for Cheese Enema.
Yeah, Sofanda took... So basically there was like a huge fight over at the Boneyard, and Sofanda said, okay, we'll take the refinery. We'll win a fight at the refinery and take it. And then they sort of won the fight at the Boneyard also.
And now they just have control over 4 points and are starting to chisel health off of Cheese Enema's Nexus. They're going back over for the refinery. They're not going to contest that. They're just going to let them have it. And Nyx and Arn Weasel heading down towards the lower part of the map. Going in for MMKH. There's that dash in and combo for MMKH. Airborne and stun. He's going to dash away. Now that they don't have any of their gap closers left available to him, that means Gragas is going to be able to escape.
So I just want to look at ult cooldowns constantly this game. Both Cyclone and Stranglethorns are available right now. So that's enough that they can actually win a fight. But they need to not use it on just Pantheon. So they held their ults there. They need to go find at least 2 people, get a combo of ults off while they have those 2, and then pick up a kill. Shaco is more of an anti-backdoor at this point than actually a backdoor. Stopping Leona there. But Wukong goes down, did use his ult, and if both Wukong and Zyra used ults and they couldn't immediately win a fight, their explosive cast does a lot of damage, but it's just not enough.
I think the explosive cast worked a little bit against them that time while kicking them over towards him and Zyra, but it did do a lot of damage. There wasn't anything to follow that up with.
Yeah, Amumu wasn't there, and that's the thing, is that their entire team composition is AoE crowd control. There is 0 follow-up. They don't have a ranged AD carry. They don't have a burst assassin. They instead have a backdoor Shaco. And I don't like that Shaco pick at all in this team composition because they're so teamfight centric, and this entire game is teamfight centric. Both Riven and Gragas have roamed up so many times. We've had 5v5 team fights but Shaco is not useful in team fights, and the other 4 can't win a fight without a 5th that is useful. So there's never enough pressure on the map at a point in time for Shaco to actually get a successful backdoor off.
Generic in the bottom has been discovered by Sandra, but Ezreal is not concerned with that snare because after it ends, he can just arcane shift in and start contributing damage once again. Oh, the Solar Flare keeping Krog back. Krog will not be able to connect with Generic's Ezreal now as he moves on to retreat towards the upper portion of the map. A lot of pressure being applied by Sofanda's team now. This is CV thrown down this area of the map to reveal the bushes and the backside of that area to make sure there's no one else hiding out around there. Pantheon is going to drop in to this side of the map, so quickly catching up to his allies, but I don't feel like he can defend 1v3 against the amount of crowd control that they have.
Yeah, they do actually are going to use Strangle Thorns here. I was going to say they don't want to use an ult, but they did use it. Wukong actually just picked up a triple kill. Ezreal is here just trying to Mystic Shot over the wall. He knows he can't fight in the actual fight, and Mumu coming over the side is going to be able to zone successfully. So a 3-cap does go back over. And the game is definitely not over, but Enema is in a really rough spot right now.
Yeah, Wowix's Shaco able to distract Leona and Ezreal for a little bit on this side of the map, but ultimately they are going to be able to arrive at the top because his allies need to recall, and he is a very poor point defender. On the list of champions that you want to defend solo on a point, Shaco is near the bottom, along with champions like Cat. It really just kind of needs something else going. Eve, another example of a character that you don't want solo on a point.
Yeah, if the Katarina is really fed, she might be able to, but I don't even think a really fed Shaco could defend a point easily.
Unless he was AD, then he really couldn't. If he had AD and a crazy amount of lifesteal. But unfortunately, this is an AP one, so he wouldn't have the possibility of that occurring either. Full 5-on-5 up at the top. Riven could be going for the open bottom tower, decides to come up here and join the party instead. Shaco just deceived straight past Riven without being seen, and he's going to be able to pick up the Boneyard for free during this encounter.
The important thing there was that Nyx stopped Wukong from being able to gap close to the backline, and so you had a great chain between Zyra's ult and Amumu's ult. But without the Cyclone there also, they just couldn't pick up the fight. They did not have enough damage, enough CC duration. And Gragas does get the kill onto Riven. So overall, that was a win for Enema. But if Nyx had any worse positioning, Wukong would have been able to get into the fray of things, and that would have been a massive team fight win in addition to the backdoor. So great positioning, great peel from Riven.
Yeah, I didn't get it on camera, but I did see it on the mini-map where Wowix just deceived straight past Nyx. Nyx never saw it because of the stealth, because they crossed directly over each other while Nyx was pathing up. Bottom lane looks like MKH is going to be evicted by Armed Weasel, which means they're going to get the Boneyard back. Top part of the map going a little bit differently. Wowix is really trying to connect with Generic, isn't able to do so, unfortunately. He is causing a lot of delay, though, with boxes.
Yeah, and that's just... Shaco is like a mini Teemo in that sense. He can't get as many shrooms, or he can't get any shrooms, I guess. Yeah, what a terrible Teemo. He can't put a single shroom on the map. But we have the Cyclone and the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The CC not overlaid too much. It was chained pretty well. Stranglethorns didn't actually do anything, but they got the pick off onto Kale, and they're approaching the point where they have enough CDR, they have enough levels in their ults. Curse of the Sad Mummy is only a minute and a half. It's less than a minute and a half. Minute and 15 seconds max cooldown right now. And Generic actually being chased down by Mumu. Bandage Toss goes in. Arcane Shift to the side, but he's going to go down anyway.
Nice pickup by Sifu Calvin on Generic's Ezreal. Pantheon Armed Weasel is going to clean that up, though. And the top point, though, is still under Enema control for the moment.
And MMK is going to roam back bot lane, back to Nyx. These two have... I don't think I've ever seen a game with the bot lanes roaming up more than this game.
Yeah, they have been pretty active in coming up, especially they've gone as far north as the Speed Shrines, and usually you only see them reach roughly this area of the map.
Alright, Golly getting focused on a little bit. That's not really what you want to be doing. Pantheon jumps in, might be able to pick up the kill on Shaco, but it looks like he is going to get out. Sandra instead is going to be the one to fall, but the true damage from Zyra will take him out there.
Zyra also
So,
picked up a bunch of minions with that, which was kind of interesting. So that's also some free money. Defensive garrison
and
on the
more
tower.
importantly, that was a free stopping the minions from capturing the point.
Oh yeah, it also does affect that capture rate. You were completely correct. So that was completely added bonus. I mean, he was really just aiming that for Leona, but picked up some accidental awesome in the process. Cyclone on generic. Oh, bandage toss. Great timing.
Yeah, and Zyra had revive up, which was the huge thing there. Zyra had revive, Leona didn't have revive. So that 1-for-1 was sort of a 1-for-0 because Zyra was able to return back to the fight. Wukong almost dies to Pantheon there, but it's not going to go down. Stranglethorn's used just on Nagali and actually manages to eat to the other side. Sifu Calvin is so brave, still in the fight. Shisha Raj comes across, tags one of them, but I think they might be able to get out, but their health bars are so low that the windmill probably going to be forfeit. But look at the ball lane. Wawix getting the neutral on the Boneyard, and MMK should actually be able to pick up the kill on Driven. He gets exhausted, but the barrel roll is in range, but it doesn't even matter because they have a 3.5 cap right now, and Enema, they managed to make the team composition work. They managed to get all of their AoE off, and they're going to pick up the game.
Yeah, the fight at top, you know, even if they had gotten that point neutral, Wowix had pulled off a neutral on the bottom point, which just further secured the victory to them. That was a good game. They got behind there for a little bit, but they managed to bring it back. That was really nice. That was some really nice. And you're right, Shaco is just an awful teamo. Just does not do it. He does have a teleport, but he doesn't have a blind. He doesn't have a blind. He doesn't have mushrooms. He doesn't have a speed increase either. He's an awful teamo. Here's where I get all my PMs. Like, Gandalf, your screen's freaking out. Like, I can't even read these during the tournament, guys.
See, that's the nice thing about overlays is that you can.
No, I mean, like, they PM'd me during the game. I can't even see them during the game. Now, see, these guys know that I'm on camera, so they're not going to say anything crazy, but I can't actually read it in the middle of the game, so I can't do anything about it. It's very unfortunate. See, look, Wowix, 0 kills. Obviously worst person on the team. Maximum Scare, 20 kill Wukong. Still only completes 3 items.
He must have been banking a decent amount of gold at the end.
Maybe. Let's take a look at damage. Uh-oh. Everybody PMing me. Everybody. PJ has sub now and a nuke explosion emote. Oh my god. PJ D. Cesare. He's a guy who streams speedruns of things. And he has sub now, and I'm excited. Because you can get a little nuclear explosion emoticon in your Twitch chat if you sub to PJ. He streams a lot of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, ActRaiser 2, 7th Saga, some other games. 44k damage on Wukong. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not quite 50k. But what was the game length? Yeah, that's a little low. For this amount of time. Usually want to see 50k at around 20-ish minutes. That's how you know you did awesome. But he did have a lot of other people on his team to contribute a whole bunch of AoE. Like, if you look at Amumu and Zyra's damage, like, just... If you took a little bit out of that and then add it to Wukong, he'd have 50k. Time spent dead. Let's see who the Graveyard Hero for this game was. Uh-oh. Most damage in the game, most kills, most time spent dead. There you go. Oh yeah, Gumner. PJ streams Worms also with like Mecha Richter and a bunch of other people. We'll play those. Those are fun. There you go. We're going to go on to the finals in this next game. It's going to be a best of 3. It's going to be between Cheese Enema and whoever the other team is. So I'll be right back in just a moment, barring anything cray-cray.